Can Canadians really buy U.S. real estate? Welcome to Owner Finance Academy, where we help Canadians build wealth by buying U.S. real estate and selling it with owner financing. Before we begin, a quick reminder that everything shared on this channel is for educational purposes only. Every situation is different, so always consult qualified professionals in various fields before making investment decisions. In this lesson, we're going to answer one of the first questions almost every Canadian asks, which is, can Canadians legally buy real estate in the US? By the end of the video, you'll understand what Canadians are generally allowed to do, some of the practical issues you'll need to think about, and why this is much more common than most people realize. So let's get started. The biggest misconception. One of the biggest reasons Canadians never seriously look at US real estate is because they assume they can't own it. People often believe you need to become a US citizen, or get a green card, or have a US social security number, or even move to the United States or frequently visit the location of the assets. None of those things are generally required simply to purchase real estate. Owning property and having the right to live or work in that country are two completely different things. Buying a house does not give you immigration status, and likewise, not having immigration status does not prevent you from owning a property. That distinction is important because many people confuse real estate law with immigration law, and they're quite different fields. Canadians have been buying US real estate for decades. Think of it. Canadians have owned vacation properties in places like Florida and Arizona for many years. Others buy rental properties. Some invest in apartment buildings, and some buy commercial real estate. All of these asset types are owned by Canadians, some as individuals, sometimes as corporations, or through partnerships. There's nothing really unusual about Canadians owning US property. The question is usually not whether you can buy. The real issues, the most important ones, are, can you structure the investments properly in a way that you benefit and you manage them from Canada, manage them remotely? Can you do it in a way that makes financial sense, that is sustainable? Those are the very hard and important questions. The strategy matters more than the country. At Owner Finance Academy, we teach one specific investment approach. Sometimes it's called the slow flip. We buy lower priced US houses. We purchase them using short term financing, usually a 5 to 7 year loan. Then we sell them using long term owner financing, usually a 30-year mortgage, which is quite common and standard in the US. That means our challenge is not really crossing the border. Our challenge is finding good deals, buying them correctly, and managing them properly. Once you understand that, the idea of investing remotely becomes much less intimidating. You don't need to live in the States or visit there frequently. Another common misconception is that you need to physically check on your properties. Really, you don't. Today's technology allows much of the work to be completed remotely. Documents can often be signed electronically. Professionals, local professionals, can handle the local tasks. Communication happens by phone, email, and video. Now, if of course doesn't mean you work alone. It means you build a team. Just as you would hire professionals in your own city here in Canada, you hire professionals in the markets in the US where you invest. Investing remotely also requires systems. Remote investing only works when responsibilities are clearly assigned. You need people who can perform the tasks that require a physical presence. Now, that team of people may include a realtor to help you locate candidate properties, a title company, which is going to be important at the closing table, an insurance agent, legal and accounting professionals, someone local, often called boots on the ground, who can visit properties when needed. Their job is not to make investment decisions for you. Their job is to carry out specific tasks within your system. As your experience grows, that system becomes repeatable. And that is what allows someone living in Canada to invest in another country like the States without constantly traveling back and forth. Now, there are additional considerations. None of this means cross border investing is effortless or easy. Owning property in another country like the US comes with additional responsibilities. For example, you'll need to think about how the property will be owned, meaning the corporate structure, how you'll do banking, how you'll manage taxes, how you'll deal with insurance, legal compliance, and moving your money between the US and Canada. Those are all important topics, but they are implementation topics. They don't change the basic answer to today's question. Yes, Canadians can buy US real estate. The details simply need to be structured correctly. Now, why we focus on systems instead of shortcuts? One thing you'll notice throughout this channel is that we don't spend much time talking about getting rich quickly, and that's intentional. Real estate rewards consistency far more than the kind of excitement you might find looking at flashy ads or flashy channels. Whether you're buying one property or 100, the process should remain largely the same. You research the market, you understand your numbers, you build the right team, you buy carefully. Again, I repeat, you buy carefully and you manage consistently. Now, the country you're investing in is only one part of the process. In this academy, we teach buying in the US. And you may ask yourself, why? Why the United States? People can ask, why are we focusing there instead of right here in Canada? Well, the answer really depends on the strategy that you use for US real estate investing. We use the slow flip model, and it relies on finding houses at prices that still allow affordable monthly payments after you start doing the seller financing to your buyer. In many Canadians markets, that math is just difficult to achieve. Certain US markets still offer opportunities where the purchase price, the financing structure, and the monthly payment can all align with this model. Now, that doesn't mean every US market will work for the slow flip strategy. It means careful market selection becomes one of the most important parts of the investment process. You start with education before you buy anything. If this is your first time looking at US real estate, please resist the temptation to start browsing cheap houses online. Low prices by themselves do not make good investments. Before you ever evaluate a specific property, you should understand how the markets work, how the numbers work, what type of property actually fits this strategy well. So education comes first, then execution comes second. That order is key. So the key takeaways from today: Canadians can generally purchase real estate in the United States. Owning property is different from having the right to live or work there. And you do not need to relocate to invest, nor do you need to frequently visit the market in which you invest. Successful remote investing depends on building reliable systems and working with the right professionals. And finally, buying property is the easy part. Building a repeatable investment process, this is where the long term success really comes. If you'd like to learn the complete Owner Finance Academy system for Canadians investing remotely in the US, you'll find a link to the full course in the description. If you're not quite ready for the full course, or you'd simply like a practical tool to get started, download the free Slow Flip Viability Diagnostic. It'll help you evaluate whether a property is a good candidate for a slow flip transaction and avoid pursuing deals that just don't fit the model. You'll find the free download in the description as well. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next lesson.